If you haven't attended the first 2 sessions, please don't worry, it's fine. You can just jump right in with this one. My name is Sharon Walters and I am a London-based collage artist. My work features Black women. You can see quite a few pieces around me here. So there are a couple of self-portraits. I use paper cutting techniques to create my work. I also layer using collaging techniques. And what I'm going to be doing with you today is a collage workshop that will build on some of the ideas that we worked on in the first 2 sessions and combine everything to create a new piece, or for you to continue with the work that you had made previously. So we'll be combining patterns, colours and portraiture in this particular workshop. So as you can see here, I have the piece that I created, move that out of the way, the piece that I created last week. I really enjoyed making this work alongside you. If you have missed that session, then you can catch up on it on YouTube. And I will be working on this further because I'd really like to continue with it. I think last week I only had completed maybe this section here. Yeah, just that section. But during the week I returned to it and completed the rest. I really like the pace of creating work. I don't like to rush through the work, and so I'll be working alongside you today in real time. So it might be quite a slow, chilled session, but I really hope you enjoy it. This is the piece that I created in the first session, and here we were looking at more kind of patterns and floral, and someone mentioned that it looks like a number 10. I don't know what the significance of that is. Someone will work it out for me. So what you will need for today's session is, if you have a pack, you will probably have a downloadable image that you can choose from. And so maybe something like this one. So there are a selection. I've tried to make them as inclusive as possible. So find something that maybe works for you. You might have downloaded the images from the online resources. You will also need some patterned paper, and you can have some magazines. So here are some examples of some patterns and textures. There are also some dots and little stickers that you can use. If you don't have these, please don't be put off. Don't worry, it's fine. You can just select things from magazines. I will be using tearing techniques for this session, so we won't be using a scalpel or knife or anything. And I really like the way that it kind of lends itself to being more of a free, relaxing session just by tearing. It's not intimidating at all. So I think we're going to get started. I hope you've got all your materials together. Oh, and also, most important part, you're going to need some glue. Other varieties are available, obviously. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you've got some paper. You might also have some, I've got some plain paper here that I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on this side. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. So in terms of identity, what we're doing is we're thinking about who we are, what constitutes you, how you kind of tuning into how you're feeling today. So if you're tuning into how you're feeling, the kind of thing that I'm thinking of currently is colours. So colours that represent me. I thought a lot about colour when I was working on the hair section of this piece last night. I initially thought I would work with black, and that felt a little bit predictable. And I started to think about who is less seen and who's underrepresented. And I think quite often Black older women are underrepresented, less seen in mainstream media. So I wanted to try and address that and talk about that in this piece. So I chose a kind of grey colour rather than black. And it's a really simple idea. Things don't need to be too complicated at all. So think about the colours that you would like to use in your work today. Also think about the kinds of textures. What do the textures say about who you are? So what I'd like you to do, if you haven't already started, is to select an image, whether that's from a magazine or from the resource pack. You can just pull that image out and start to work with that image. Think about some words as well that you'd like to connect to. If you saw the first session, we looked at the types of words that you might be connecting to. So I'm thinking about how I'm feeling today. I'm feeling quite calm. I feel calm and relaxed today, and I'm really looking forward to the session, because what I found in the first 2 sessions, I'm going to have a look for some pictures that I like. What I found in the first 2 sessions was that I got a lot out of it, as in I really enjoyed making. So I really love the idea of putting something really bright with this image. So I'm thinking here about age and expectations of what it might mean to be an older woman. And quite often people talk about kind of not being seen and the expectations being to just be quiet and sit quietly, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this really vibrant colour. So you might want to tear, you might want to use a ruler if you have a ruler, and just fold, then put some strips together maybe. But I'm really enjoying, I don't like that bit there, I'm really enjoying just putting torn pieces together. And it's a method that I used early on in my Seeing Ourselves series, which I started over 3 years ago. And it's a series of over 300 pieces, and they are collage pieces. And I rarely use this tearing technique currently, but I'm really enjoying returning to it for the purposes of these sessions. And maybe we might want to keep just thinking about how that might look with a bit of a gap just there. Oops. You might want to start gluing straight away. I'm just playing a little bit first. I work quite slowly. You can work at your own pace. You don't necessarily have to work on one piece. You might find that you start a piece and you'd like to work on other pieces. You might come across some words that you want to use in your work. I want you to feel as though you're really free. I would love you to be able to feel as though you're really free to make in the way that you want to make, because you are. All I'm doing is showing you a method that I'm using, but you can choose your own, okay? And as Jen said earlier on, if you do have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A box. I'm going to start gluing this, I think. Just looking at the work and just seeing if I think it works. Okay. All right. So I always laugh at myself with this bit, because despite making over 300 pieces, I still get a little bit nervous with gluing. And I think I get nervous because I think that once it's secured, you can't change it. Let me just pull that over there so you can see what I'm doing. But of course, that's not true. So if you glue something down and you don't like the way it looks, you can either glue over it, there are ways around it. It's not permanent. Okay, and what I'm trying to do here is to ensure that I go as close to the edges as I can, so that it doesn't lift up. If you look there, you can see that I haven't gone all the way to the edges. So I really hope that you will share your work with us, and you can upload your images to us at Hospital Rooms. Okay, I think that's glued enough. I still laugh at myself with the being a bit of a commitment phobe with the glue. Okay, and I'm just pressing down to ensure that all the edges are down here. So for me, making this work is a lot about the process. I love the process of making. I always say this, but I like the fact that it forces me to slow down because my mind can be quite busy. It gives me space to exhale. Oops. I thought I was going to leave a gap, but I didn't quite like the way it looked. So I'm going to pull it closer and see how that looks. So remember, you can be using text, you can be using stickers, different patterns of paper. I'm now reintroducing pattern, but tearing it up. So these were just kind of bold, simple colours. But here I'm tearing up this paper. You can also use pens. So last week I used just a pen to simply draw the line in. I didn't want to use too much drawing in this piece, but I think that for me might be a confidence thing because I haven't drawn for a while. It's probably a good reason to do it, really. Okay, so I'm just trying to pull these as close as I possibly can. This is really, as much as you might think, oh, I'm a collage artist and I've done so many pieces, this is still outside my comfort zone. So if you're feeling a little bit like, I haven't really done this before, I haven't done this for a long time, or you're not sure, it's actually the same for me too. So I haven't done this particular style of work for a while, and I'm just working alongside you to see how it goes. I like the imperfections of making this work in particular. I think the work that I make currently can be quite precise to a certain extent. But I almost welcome those little imperfections or seemingly look like mistakes that happen, because it forces me to kind of embrace that, which I think sometimes it's very useful, especially if we like control, which I do. This is a really good way of working for me. Just going to continue clearing. If while you're working you have any questions at all about either the way you're working or questions about my work, then please do ask. Feel free. And you can do so anonymously if you're a bit shy.
Sharon, we've had a question come through from Sue Klein, and Sue asks, how might you prepare yourself to be centered and calm, allowing your own questions to help you create from within?
See, I know Sue. So Sue follows me on Instagram. I don't know her. She's been following me for a while. So how do I center myself to be calm? I take deep breaths. So for example, before doing a session like this, I will take a really deep inhale and exhale if required. It helps me to feel more grounded. if I'm feeling a little bit nervous or excited, because I think those two can be quite closely linked, to be honest. And I often try and change the wording from nervous to excited, because it has more of a positive kind of meaning behind it. So yeah, so I would take a deep breath. I actually have a really nice candle burning in here. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can just there. So I started burning my favorite candle, and yeah, that's how I ground myself. What was the second part of the question, Jen?
So the second part of the question was just about kind of centering yourself and allowing your own thoughts to help you create from within.
Okay. I think just kind of trying to go with the flow of the work. So, and trusting your intuition. So trusting you have the answers, that those answers don't exist outside of yourself, I think is a really important part of creating this work. So for me, this series has really helped me to believe in myself more, to welcome change, to grow. It's helped me in so many ways, and and I honestly feel like now I would be, oops, that's off camera. Now I would be lost without this series. So yeah. And some more paper. So Sue lives in Los Angeles. Not Los Angeles, in the US. I can't remember exactly where now. And has recently bought a piece from the series. So I think it's early in the morning there. All right. Okay.
Sharon, we've had another question come through that's a little bit more technical.
Oh.
So with your cutout pieces, do you use a glue stick or a different type of glue, and how do you keep the wrinkles down?
Okay, so it depends on the piece. So I know some people recommend using PVA. I'm not a big fan of PVA because it wrinkles so much. So I tend to use a glue stick. Yeah, I tend to use a glue stick. And to keep the wrinkles down, I would recommend just not putting too much glue on it and ensuring that you press. So as I'm doing here, you just press down. I have got a piece to show you that I made right at the beginning of the series, which is using a very similar technique and coincidentally quite a similar type of image. Where is it? Let's have a look. There it is. I knew I had it to hand. Right, so I wonder if I should do it like this. That makes sense. Okay. So this is a piece I created earlier on in the series. You can see that we might be able to see that I painted the lips. I've used some text. Might be able to see it if I do that. Yeah, that's it better. There are tiny bits of text in here, but I love the fact that you can't actually read them. It looks as though it's a brand. The text has been torn up. And then there are patterns and patterns in different types of print that I've used for this piece. And then the background is just a plain white. I don't think this piece is actually finished. This is a really, for me, an interesting piece because it was right at the beginning of the series, and at one point I actually sat and had my daughter help me. So you can see that I think she was probably about 5 or 6 then. But here these pieces are much, much bigger. But I kind of like the fact that I've got kind of memories kind of encased in this work as well. But even though they're quite similar, I think there's something slightly different about this work. Probably need a bit more time to think about it. But if anyone's got any thoughts or questions, feel free to comment. Okay, so
just to let everyone know that we're about halfway through the session today, but please do continue your artwork outside of the session, just as Sharon did last week. And we'd love to see your identity portraits if you'd like to upload them to our gallery as well. Please do let us know where you're joining us from today, if you've joined the Digital Art School before, or if this is your very first session. We'd love to give your unit or ward a big shout out.
So I really like the vibrancy of the colour against the greyness, and the piece. And for me, that colour blue reminds me of the sky and peace and relaxation. So yeah, I am kind of thinking about colours while I'm making. And remember, if you've done something with your piece so far that you're not too sure about, simply remove it, or you can collage over it. None of this is permanent, but just kind of trust your instincts as much as you can. And I know that can be difficult sometimes. Okay, I think I want to build up here a little bit. So you can see that the amount of time this is taking it's very unlikely, unless there's some kind of miracle, that I will finish this work today or in this session, and that's completely fine. I'll continue working on it outside of the session. For me, I don't want to rush. I like the pace of creating in this way. It's kind of quite therapeutic, I find.
I'd like to say a big hello to ES1 Ward and everyone joining us from there. You have attended every single workshop this term, and we have noticed, and we do thank you very much for all of your hard work, and we'd love to see your wonderful creations. So please do share those with us.
That's fantastic. I do think, now I'm looking at this piece, I am thinking about how I would like to fill the earring shape in. I'm not quite sure how I want to do that. So while you're working, you might be thinking ahead to how you might want to work. If not, that's fine as well. I think the beauty of working in this way is you have to kind of stay quite present. So I'm thinking about more orange here because it's looking very, very pink. So the reason why I started making this series was because I didn't see myself represented in as much as white Western people represented in museums and galleries and magazines and mainstream media. And so I started creating this body of work which would look at identity and celebrate Black women. And I think that's why my confidence has grown. The work has been really well received, and I don't like that bit there. There's too much white. I'm going to take that off. There we go. Just put that over there. And so, yeah, the work has been really well received. Worked on a number of different projects. most recently, the kinds of things I've been doing is I have worked with ITV and created a large-scale ident, which was shown before every single programme throughout January. It was a 4x8 metre co-created piece with Mark Lane. I've also been working with Tate as a mentor for an emerging artist called Hannah Hill, on a project called Beyond Boundaries. The talks, lots of different groups, all around identity and well-being and portraiture. And I've got a number of exciting projects lined up later this year.
I'd like to say a big hello to everyone that's in Rookery Gardens joining us today from Birmingham. And the lovely Marie says, Sharon, your picture is looking nice.
Oh, thank you, Marie. I'm really enjoying making this. And I hope you're all enjoying making your pieces too. And what I've said in the first 2 sessions actually is to give yourself a little, I haven't done this yet, so I'm going to do that now. Give yourself a little bit of time. So just take a step back from your work and see where it's going. It looks as though I've started to make a love heart. Now I look at it. That wasn't really intentional, but maybe subconsciously that's what I've wanted to do. So yeah, just stop, have a look at your work. You don't always have to glue down the pieces straight away. You can place them, see how they look visually, and then start gluing. So yeah, I'm going to return to this section here. Can't believe how I think I've forgotten how enjoyable just doing something as simple as tearing and gluing can be. I think some art forms can feel a little bit inaccessible. Despite spending years at art college, I like the theory and all that kind of stuff and the introductions to different types of mediums I've had. But what I do love is making art more accessible to everyone. It's really important. Because I think sometimes art can provide a voice to things we can't often articulate. Sometimes we simply don't have words. I found art very, very useful when I was growing up. To be fair, all I've ever wanted is to be an artist, an art therapist. It's always been my dream. So doing this work with you today feels like a real gift. So thank you for joining me. Just having a quick look. I think I want to do a little bit of work on the earring before we end today, though. Because I don't want to finish the session without at least doing that. you can hear from my voice, I'm really relaxed.
Just as a time check for everyone, we've got about 10 minutes left of the session today, but please do continue to work on your piece outside of the workshop time.
It was really lovely over the last couple of weeks is seeing the work that people have made, whether that's through Instagram. A few people have tagged me. My Insta is London_artist1. So please do tag me if you share your work. Would like me to see what you've made. Yeah, just seeing what people have made has been really lovely and really inspiring, actually. Really inspiring. Just seeing the different techniques you've used and how you've developed your own work. Just put something in very quickly, keep going.
We've had a really incredible comment come through, Sharon, and that's from someone under the name Portugal Prince.
Okay.
And they've said, I'm joining you from South London. I've enjoyed all 3 workshops. It's been very inspiring and makes me feel proud to be Black.
Oh, you're going to try. Gosh, that's the loveliest comment. Thank you. I'm not going to cry. Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know what to say to that. Just thank you. That's such a beautiful comment. Yeah, I'm really pleased that this work is connecting with people. To be fair, it's probably more than I could ever have dreamt of. And that comment, believe me, will stay with me. Jen, please write it down so I remember it. If you are on social media, please follow me because I would like to stay in touch with people and share my work with you. If not, I'm on londonartist1.com. That's my website. That's such a lovely comment. I don't know what to say after that. I said I was going to work on the earrings, didn't I? Right. I think it's time for me to. This is so enjoyable working on this stuff. Okay, let's go for the earrings because I realise we're almost out of time. Please don't feel rushed at all. Continue working at your own pace. I've got this lovely photo here that I took. Right, I think I'm going to try. It's going to be quite difficult to tear this, or maybe I'll use this one. I'm going to use a different image here. So I just wanted to add, I know we were talking earlier about this session being around pattern and texture as well. So I wanted to just quickly introduce a little bit of nature. Blue, it's nearly running out. Got another one over there. So let's see what I can do with this. So I am literally experimenting with this idea while we're working. Okay. Right, I think that might work. Yeah, I think it's going to work. I'm just going to move that up slightly. So you might have noticed there I just folded up a piece of paper just to see how it would work. To form the earring. I think I'm going to have to fold this one slightly as well. And I'll be uploading my images as well. I'd love you to do the same. I would hate to miss what you've created. And I hope this has inspired you not only just to try collaging, but to think about things that maybe you liked or things that you would like to try. I hope it's given you a bit of confidence to try new things. Because these sessions aren't just about collaging for me. They are about building confidence in other areas too. So you can see how fiddly this bit is. I'm not giving up. A bit like my run this morning, I wasn't giving up. Just kept going. And when I say run, some people watching would probably say it was a light jog. Okay. I'm kind of liking how it's not as flat as the other pieces. It gives it a bit more texture. Don't know if you can see that from there. So I think we're coming almost to the end of this session. And I really hope you've enjoyed working alongside me. This is your first session. There are another 2 to check out on YouTube. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Richard for introducing me to hospital rooms, and to Jen, who I've been working alongside, and to anthropology. And most of all, thank you to all of you for joining me. It's been a real gift to work in this way and to make work alongside you. It's given me time to pause from what is quite often a very, very busy, intense week of working on lots of different projects. But this has been a real gift. So thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for such an incredible workshop today. And for the past 2 weeks, we've been so lucky to be able to spend this time with you and learn more about your practice and challenge ourselves as well, and how we kind of see ourselves. So thank you very much for that. I'd like to end the session actually on a comment that we've just got through from Vicky L. Hughes. He says, "You're very inspiring, worth getting up in the early hours for here in Northern California."
Oh, thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Vicky. It's so wonderful to know that we've got such a global audience. And we've just had another comment come through as well from Nicola Beatty, who says, "Thank you for these workshops. I've enjoyed them so much." So thank you all, everyone, for attending. We really appreciate you being here. And it wouldn't be the Digital Art School without all of you. Richard, if you're able to please bring back our slideshow. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Just once again, I'd like to say a really huge thank you to Sharon on behalf of Hospital Rooms for such a wonderful workshop today. And thank you once again to our friends at Anthropology EU for your support. Thanks to everyone that submitted a question today and let us know where you've been joining us from. It's been really lovely to have you all with us. It's time now to launch our end of workshop poll. If you could indicate how you found the workshop today, this will help us to improve the Digital Art School as we continue to grow and develop our programme. That should be appearing on your screens now. So I'll just give everyone a few moments to answer that. I can see everyone's answers coming through now. Fantastic. Thanks everyone for jumping up to your screens to kind of give that a click. Really appreciate it. Fantastic. I'm going to end that poll now. Thank you very much for submitting your responses. If you're still here with us, I'd like to share the story of Hospital Rooms and how the workshop today has come about. We are a London-based arts and mental health charity, and we transform inpatient mental health units with extraordinary art. We began the Digital Art School in response to COVID-19 lockdowns when our work in inpatient units was put on hold. It's been hugely important for us to build a wonderful creative community where we can all join together and feel part of something special. We are now a Webby Award-winning programme. You can find the library of our past projects and all of the previous Digital Art School workshops on our YouTube channel, where you'll find a variety of original and high quality workshops with world-class artists. Please have a look and subscribe to our channel. We also have a Digital Art School mailing list, which keeps you informed of upcoming workshops, the materials you'll need for them, along with any relevant downloads and links to last week's video. You can sign up for that at hospital-rooms.com. We'd absolutely love for you to share your artworks with us from any of our Digital Art School workshops by uploading to our online gallery. We love seeing the works you've created, and we do also share your work with our artists. You can do so anonymously, or you can let us know your name and where you are. If you've created a collage today, either joining us live or watching back on demand, we'd love to see them. And just a reminder that every identity portrait artwork we receive from you for these 3 workshops with Sharon Walters will be included in a beautiful printed keepsake book, which we'll be sending out for free to all of the mental health units that have participated. We'll be back for a brand new term on the 15th of July after we take a very short break. You'll be able to join in workshops exploring typography design, drawing with scent, fashion illustration, and many more. If you're in a mental health unit taking part in the Digital Art School, please sign up to our mailing list as an alert about how you can apply for a free materials box. Will be in your inbox early next week. From me and everyone at Hospital Rooms, thank you all so much once again for joining us today. A huge thank you to Sharon for leading today's great workshop. Thank you to our wonderful friends at Anthropology EU and everyone that has made a donation towards today's workshop. I'd like to extend another personal thank you to all of the wonderful OTs, activity coordinators and teachers that have spoken to me over the last few weeks who work extra hard to bring the Digital Art School to life. We'll see you all again for our Summer Brights term starting on the 15th of July. Thanks so much, everyone.